Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. All right, cool. Looks like we're live. This is my first time doing this. I'm not expecting anyone to even be on this, but I'm going to kind of show what I do to edit my videos, kind of talk through what I'm thinking, what's going on in the videos, and if people actually happen to watch, feel free to ask questions. If not, I'll probably post the video later, but we'll just go after the technical aspects of this for now. Right now, you're looking at the files I dragged over from my GoPro. These are only the video files. GoPros will usually tag along some other files that you kind of don't need. Um, so I'm just going to start up. I use Adobe Premiere right now. I'd like to use something else. I wish I had CS6 or a subscription, but since I literally don't make any money anymore because people don't watch 11,000 minutes of my content every month. So I fall under that threshold for YouTube. So because I'm not making much money on this, I'm not going to pay for an Adobe Premiere subscription. Anyway, um, so yeah, Adobe Premiere Elements is not bad to use for this. Basically, just select everything. This is kind of the easier way to do it. GoPros will name their videos, the oldest being the one with a 0 up front. Then we got 1, 2, 3. I think they go for about 15 minutes each, depending on the length of the video, or the quality. The files will break up based on that. So right off the bat, I'm looking at all the files I have, and I'm going to select each one, and I'm actually going to up the brightness because on YouTube that it just kind of looks nicer. I might, yeah, that's it. That's all I really do for that. The thing that sucks is you got to go to each one of them and adjust that. And you have to do it individually for whatever reason. It doesn't let you do it across the board. So that part's done. This is also around where I would add my custom label that says like MN Wong channel. So we can just drag this over, put that there. And we're not Sunday morning, we're SLP. Oh man, SLP Sunday skate, and it's the date. What was the date? That was the 8th. So 4/8, 4/8/18. So this will be a good. I mean, it's kind of a good way to look back. Say I have this thing up for a while. I'm like, hey, what did I look back? How good did I look, or how bad did I look back then, or what did I do that day? I don't know. So throughout this, you might hear some chop in the audio. Hopefully this thing doesn't crash because that's not a good sign right there. Let's see here. I'm gonna try and mess with the audio settings so that this isn't too loud because we don't need to hear too much of the game, just enough. So that should be good. That looks alright. Cool. It's not flaking out. I got a couple people watching. Feel free to ask any questions along the way. So right now, this part here is doing all this work here, this intro thing. So I'll usually skip up. I do my warm up. I've widened it too much. I don't need that much. Done my warm up, doing my warm up. Put her up right before the game. Okay, so usually I'll clip it there, select that, delete, everything shuffles over. So easy. During the intro part, I don't want anything going on. So what I end up doing is just letting it go for a little bit.
We're good now.
Show I'm setting up, kind of what's the rule? Every YouTube video that's more than a minute long, you just basically want to skip the first 20 seconds. It's kind of, people kind of do that anyway, but it's kind of something to have as an intro. So okay, so zone entry here. Let's see what happens. Set. No real threats out front here. Let's make it bigger here so people can see. No real threats there, so there's no action there, and these are the type of things I cut out. Like, if I was doing... The times I would actually leave much in here is if there's a lot of, like, footwork stuff that's somewhat intricate. I might leave it at times, but in an effort to kind of make my videos a little bit shorter and more watchable, I tend not to do that because it's not just goalies that'll watch. It's other people too, and they don't always know why I'm putting that in there maybe. So yeah, so nothing really happens. I'm going to lower the volume on this a little bit more. Open volume mixer. It seems really loud, doesn't it? All right. Nothing happening, nothing happening. Still a rip game. Okay, so we got a zone approach here. This looks like something happened. So we're going to clip that right now. Nothing happened here we care about. All gone. What's above it is just that intro. So now we're back to here. Gotta just drag it back here. Check my pipes. So I glanced here to see if this attacker's coming in. This guy's wide open here. And he's getting pretty bound up. I'm still playing it honest. But I'm getting ready to push out here. Thought he'd take a quicker shot. So yeah, I thought he'd take a quicker shot, and then he fumbles it a little bit. So that's why I go down right away. Fumbles it, regathers. I thought he'd shoot again here quicker, and then I'm caught kind of making that save. Good save, though. And then the zone exit. So that's a good clip. We'll keep that one in. So again, he kind of comes out. And I thought that was going to be a shot there, and then he re-handles it. To get it wider, to be honest, that's not bad, because he has all the time in the world, and to pull that wider and maybe shoot high is a good idea. But he shoots into my feet, works out. And I had a pretty good angle. If something I should do more is keep my hand more ahead of my pad there, because of where he is. Like he still has this option. If my hand's more aggressive and I'm leaning out more towards him, that takes away a lot up here. But in any case, it didn't happen. It's still okay positioning. I'd still like to see my... If I was coaching, I'd say I'd like to see the glove out further. So we'll skip past that. We already got that clip. Icing. Not interesting, not interesting, not interesting. Alright, zone entry. So I'll back it up. Cut, clip, out. Let's see what happens here. Easy save off into the corner. Safe place, and we got it wrapping around what looks to be here. He's looking for an option right here. So he's looking for him to break, or if he's ready. He looks like he's coming back to the bench. And there we go. Not much, but stuff like that, I'll just clip it out at that point. You might see me edit things out where you don't always see the result of what happens here. And it's because it's something like, okay, you know, I'm standing up, that happens. How much more do we really honestly need to see? So yeah, looks like it comes back in though, actually. So let's see. Nothing. No, nothing. So what happens here? Guy comes in. Good D play. These two D are so great to play behind. Like they take care of me 100%. They're a huge portion of why we win a lot, and it's a huge benefit to trust that you know that your D-men will do the right things. Both of these guys play D1, and I know that they're going to do the right things or else at least make a best effort to. So my job is to make sure that I'm playing things honestly, because I can play things honestly. You kind of fall into a bad rut when you have players you can't trust and you start cheating. That's when bad goals go in. But that's a side note. Right, back to editing. Looks like we got 4 people watching right now. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so we got a zone entry here. nothing happens. So like right there, that's stuff you see me clip out all the time. Just got a face off. Let's see if anything happens after it. So just because we know nothing's happening there from an editing perspective, I'm just going to clip that out. And we're going to move forward. Nothing happening. Yeah, nothing. All right, so we do have zone entry. Looks like I might have made a save or made a move. We're going to clip all that stuff out before again. Start back there. Let's see what happens here. So that was a tricky shot, and it was actually kind of a cool move, but that's a good stop for the slot pass. And he's out. So let's look at that again. So I think he fumbles it a bit. Okay, so he's pushing in, does a little dipsy doodle, and he blocks what pass was gonna come here. And you see me going down right here is for this pass. I must have either feel that he's there or else maybe I glanced over with my eyes, not so much my head. But that doesn't happen. He regathers, luckily for him, and he chips it up. So this is kind of dangerous, but I punch it away here. That's a trickier save than you think because you're kind of recovering, getting ready for a different type of shot. And he, I mean, I like what he did. So we're going to keep going here. And I blocked that pass out front, and then it kind of gets played out. So nothing there, nothing there. All right, so some stuff's going on here. It's kind of taking a while. So we're going to clip all that out because that's all pointless. Behind the net. Then we got a scary play right here. And he did not capitalize on it. I was being lazy, and that could have been a goal. If he rifles that, that's a goal. Because I definitely don't feel him there. But it was largely uneventful, so we're just going to clip it out. Out. Keep going. Tipped puck out. Not really a shot on goal. Nothing happens there. We're going to scrub that out. Nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. So a lot of nothing happening right now. Let's see what happens here. This guy gets in. He trips him flat out. Honestly, that's not a bad trip. Let's look at what happened here. So they're about to have a 4-on-1. It could have been a 2-on-0. And he trips him up. He gets the puck. And nothing happens there. If he catches that and rifles, it's a little bit dangerous. I was kind of ready for it. But that's what I would call a good penalty. Yeah. So he gets the penalty. That's fine. We're going to delete all that because that's not really action right there. Alright, so a lot of play in the corner. Not very interesting. Skipping that. Something happens here. Nothing there. A lot more nothing. A lot of zone control. Okay, so now this is where I would actually include some parts to it. This is if you see edits on my page where hey, what's up, JFL? If you see edits on my page where just like all of a sudden I'm in action, it's because I've spared you watching a bunch of corner stuff, and like this isn't even a shot that goes into the corner. And like that's not fun to watch. To me, it's not fun to watch. I mean, I don't have a wide enough view for that to be valuable to anyone really. I just know what's coming out of the app. So this is actually something about to happen, I think. I think it goes back up. Or does it go back? When does it go? Okay, so here we go. A bunch of back and forth slappy puck. And now it gets to that. So this is super dangerous. Right here is super dangerous. Because he's trying to wedge him off and he's not being pressured at all. And time in these areas is deadly. And he misses the puck. Or misses the shot, thankfully. I don't know what he really saw on that angle. I would actually say I'm pretty off angle on this side, probably. I'm probably showing more here than I am here. I probably was not paying attention to which hand shot he was. But yeah, he misses the net, thankfully. We keep playing around in the zone, and he dishes it out. So I might include this just because it's pretty high percentage area. And I'm going to just cut it off there because the rest of this, non-eventful. JFL, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them on chat. I'll answer anything. Gear related, hockey related, what the hell are you doing related? Anything, I'll answer. Okay, so what's going on here? Looks like we iced the puck and there's a line change. It's an actual shot on goal eventually here. I'll cut it there. Before it's just really, it's not even that big of a save. It's not a big save at all. Catch it. Actually, I didn't even catch it. That's that one. I remember that now. Hand pointed too far forward, not facing this guy enough. So you can see me a little frustrated with myself there. Nothing. Out of nothing. I think, are we on our power play here? Like, why is this happening? So this guy's coming in. Play's broken up. D-man. 2 are out. Nothing. They got nothing. A lot of nothing again. Okay, guy comes in wide, so we can just scrub that out. What happens here? He's got a far option here, and maybe a lane. He can maybe block this. I just calmly cover. Easy, all day. So, let's look at this shot again now. This is kind of the, I'm going to compare it to, don't buy too much into it. So, it's kind of the Ovechkin shot, right? It's a pass to a high slot, bang. If that's a rifled shot and you can one time, it is not easy to get side to side here at a quick pace for shots from like that. So like that long distance, what's considered long distance for goalies, obviously it's not to skaters because from here to here is a massive difference. But to move across on a rifled pass that can be one timed by like a professional, that it's so hard to get properly set and rotated for those shots. So that's why you see these like a here-to-here pass from Ovechkin where you're forced to be out on this dot, like this area to this area. Why those go in, even though everyone on the ice knows what's happening and why it's happening. All right, easy save. All right, so something does happen after the face-off, so we'll cut to there. Kind of fight that one off. When it's under control, and I kind of calm down on it. And that's out. So, anything crazy happen here? Kind of a scary area where it's kind of a transition spot. He knows to clear him off. Like if you're a D-man watching this, or if you're someone that's skidding up that watches this, it's important to clear that out because if he gets freedom to kind of sit in there and tip, like see how he guarded his stick away? Like then now I just have a clean shot, and that clean shot I probably I should have caught, but it's not eventful until at this point, I guess, somewhat eventful. But he clears the guy again, so makes my job easy. What happened here? Offsides. A lot of nothing going on. A lot of nothing. So to people who are watching this from a technical perspective, make sure you remember to delete the ends of these GoPro videos. It's kind of easy to get rolling, especially when the clips get smaller, like if you're cutting smaller clips, to get rid of all the fat at the end of your videos, because it will divide the videos, and right here, that's a bunch of fat just gone. So now we get to come into this. Okay, so he's got a guy here. It's important that he makes that save. I can play this honest because I know there's a good chance he might make that, but at the same time, see, right there. And that's the value of a great D-man, is actually being able to trust and play this honestly. Alright, so looks like something happens here, maybe. So that's a good, kind of pretty good face-off one. He's shooting it rolling. And shoots it wide. He's got a pretty good shot. I think he scores on me later on this game. I would rather see people shoot pucks that are questionable than watch them settle the puck, because the time it takes to set on a settling, the time it takes to settle a puck, a goalie should be set. So again, if you're a shooter watching this, that's why you'll score more if you're just one timing, even if it's a grenade. Okay, what happens here? This guy just kept shooting gut shots on me this day. I don't know why. So he's 2-2. You got a forward, or he's taking a shift for one of our D-men. Pulls it back. Kind of a cute move there. He's got this as an option, and this option could maybe create that option. But he just takes a shot at my gut. The scarier option there would have been a hard shot to the inside. I would say the inside leg, and maybe creating a rebound in this area. All right. Let's see, anything happen here? He gets stopped. All right, so something happens here. I'll cut that, get rid of the fat, go back to that spot. Just to punch the side. I'm pretty okay with that. Teammates collide and then it's broken out. Maybe I'll just leave that in for the chuckle if people notice that. Oof. We'll go there. What happens here? Oh, so something happens here. I guess we'll leave it in. Cut that. So that was really weird, and I kind of... So it hits him, hits his foot, he slaps it, hits that skate, or sorry, hits that stick. I kind of raised it up because I didn't know if it was doing something more crazy than that, but then it's broken out. Do we leave that one in? What do you say? Should we leave that one in? I'll leave it in at that point. Kind of interesting play. Then we got a period ender, so scrub this until we're back in. Okay, then we gotta go back. We'll cut that there. Nothing going on. Does this face-off even event? Something happens here, so let's watch the face-off. So we'll cut there, trim the fat, and go. Actually, that's really not much of anything. So sometimes I watch these and I think I make a save or do something really, and it ends up not being that. So those do get cut out. I'm just saying from an editing perspective, just kind of like nothing impressive happens here. He's got a good percentage shot, and then the tip doesn't go his way. Okay, so do I shaft this or not? I hit a lot of pucks with the shaft of my stick. curious to see if I do. I don't think I do here. I don't remember doing it. I shoulder that. And then it got scary. Okay. So a couple interesting things there. Good. He's got a good shot. They try and pick corners on me a lot. A few of the guys on this team, and that's not a bad shot. It's not a bad play to shoot it there. This was crafty here though. Like the way it bounced off there, I thought for sure it would go in the corner, but he picks it up. And then there's another kind of wide shot, and it gets cleared. Okay, so what happens here? I think I've had a hard time catching lately. I haven't had my hands, I haven't had my fingers pointed upward enough. So I think this is another one of those instances. Let's watch this. They're coming into the zone. Okay, so pretty free here. He does have to play that honestly. He's covering it pretty well. I palm it. Gets back to him. This isn't a dumb play. So I'd say it's quite a smart play, especially in beer league. If you can catch someone out swimming, if I say swimming when goalies are kind of out too far, and if you can catch someone out, if I'm a shooter, what I'm looking at is their hip or their back. You shouldn't go shooting pucks hard off goalies' backs if they're in a compromising position like this, but the hip or here, that might bounce in, and that's why this is bad when I kind of come out that far. And don't retreat sooner. Like, it's there. So I kind of fight to get that off, then come back out and make a pretty good save here. Thankfully, that didn't curve in. And I think I got chipped out of the ring. So let's look here. Hey Saunders, thanks for the shout out. I just saw your chat there. Hopefully it's helpful. For goalies or forwards, hopefully it's helpful. I might do this more frequently if you guys like this. I'm gonna see what the gauge is. It's not a lot of work for me to do it because I'm doing this work anyway. So for me to talk through these things isn't a big deal. So, decent save there. Kind of threw some stuff. I kind of push it off me, or try to push it off me to make sure it doesn't go here. I probably should have tried harder to make it go out here. There's no more threats there. There's 2 threats here. So here's something for goalies that are learning the modern style. Instead of just popping up and scooting over here, look where my foot's planted, right there. My foot's planted right here because the direction I want to go is 90 degrees from where my foot's planted. So I tell this to young goalies right off the bat. If you want to move correctly, the most power you're going to get is when your foot's planted and going to travel 90 degrees that way. You have the most edge and you can transfer the most power at that point. So I'm pushing because this is where the threat is. I know he's moving in on it. And I move straight over. I'm not trying to gain depth right now because I can't. It's not safe for me to gain depth at this point. The most ground I need to cover is this way. Pushing over that way. And I get to hop up and make kind of a shoulder save. Thankfully that didn't go in. That's a taller guy maybe or that goes in because they'll have more reach to kind of hook it in. But thankfully it didn't. And nothing. So that was a pretty good save. I might slow-mo that one. So it's going to be a long slow-mo though. Whatever, we'll do it. Cool. And then there. We'll cut it there. Actually, it's too long to slow-mo. We'll cut it. We'll cut it here. And then we'll scoot this over, drop that in. So what I just did there was copy. I moved that over. That'll shuffle everything ahead of it over. Dropped it into the blank space. And then pasted it. Now, if I hit Control R, I can change the time it goes. And I say 50%. It's half speed, slow motion. We'll still get audio in it. Plant, push, up, and a lucky miss by him. So one thing that's going to happen after that, with Adobe Premiere, this will lock onto the previous clip if I drag it over like that. Just make sure it's hard once you get a lot of stuff going for it to lock on sometimes. So I move this over because I think otherwise it'll lock onto this. And then in the future, I think I'll have to close gaps. Yeah, that gap right there got created. So you'll close it. I'll close that gap later. Cool. And then we're back to our game. That looks like I make some save off. This is the save I actually didn't think I made. I thought I actually let this one slip through and let in a bad goal, but I did not. So let's watch that. Pass to him. He's opening up for a shot. Before it wasn't that much of a threat. It looked like he was going to maybe pass it to him. Through traffic. I got it. So it was a little bit of a tricky shot because it's actually, I'm reaching across him. Like I don't see that he's, I can't watch the puck the entire path, but like I'm peeking over a little bit. I know the trajectory about where it's going to go. And then I catch it. It looks simple. It's actually a little bit harder than it looks though. Because eyes on, looking around the body here a little bit, and it travels over. All right. Bunch of corner play, nothing interesting. What goes on here? Probably an offsides. Looks like an offsides. Right now, because I'm getting kind of far in the edit here, I'm just going to get rid of the fat. Gone. So here's something I do. I don't know that I should. I should probably have just grabbed this, skated around behind the net, and rifled it off the glass. I'm not great at playing the puck. I tell that to a lot of people. It's something I got to work on, or just that my team has to come to terms with. I don't like playing the puck. I like playing the puck, but I'm not good at it. Let's put it that way. And I understand the risk involved, so I tend not to do it a whole ton. So nothing crazy there. I'm going to keep that out. Okay, so this looks like an interesting. So we're going to back it up, cut out the fat. Now we'll look at it. So he gets it up on his feet. Looks like he's trying to clear it. That's a smart pass right there. Not smart. He knows he's here. He knows he's tangled up with him, and he probably sees these two over here mentally. So to get it off to him is actually pretty cool. And that was a crafty play too. So he's pretty fully extended, and to dump it into a dangerous area where maybe he tips it here. Maybe he tips it and it goes 5-hole. I don't have instant coverage there. Thankfully, it hits my toe. Still a dangerous area. So that could have been easily two ways. That could have been a goal right there. So it could have been a good tip 5-hole there, and it wasn't. But because he took that shot, a rebound got kicked to him, and look how much net he has. I mean, that's a big desperation save if he gets that puck. So I have time to kind of recoup. I do. Hits it like almost armpit on me there. He gets coughed out again. And my D-men are doing a good job of just keeping them covered, keeping the sticks in control. And you see me kind of relax. I do that a lot because I'm out of shape right now. But I kind of take my time getting up there because there's not really a threat anymore. My guy's got it in the corner. Still has it. Still has it. He still has it. So we'll just cut it. This is one of those times where I'll just cut it off when I'm still down. And that's why I do it. Because there's not really much that's interesting happening after that. If a goal happens, I include it. So stuff like this, it's not because a goal happened and I'm trying to edit it out, or that there's all this action that happened and it made me look bad. It's just because I don't want to, if I can clip out some fat anywhere in the video, I might as well clip it out. So let's see what happens here. It doesn't look like I play something very well here. So he's wide. I'm playing honest. Okay, so this is a little interesting. That was kind of a weak pass into the front. It's a good idea. But I see where it's going. I see it's going here. If there's a guy shooting up the gut hard, that's a really dangerous pass. So if this guy's actually shooting in hard, that's a dangerous pass. But right here, I'm just going to flip. I flip my stick over to the backside, and I just try and get it out of there. Didn't do a great job of it. I don't know if it's because I got ran a little bit there. I'm not going to blame it on that. I probably should have laid it flatter to let it go in the corner over here. That was a little scary. I probably should have seen that a little better. This ends up getting broken out. So I'll let that go there. And we'll just cut it there, because the rest of it's boring. Saunders, do you have any questions at all? I'm kind of just walking through my video, how I do my editing process and what I'm thinking or what I did wrong and what's being done right. So if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Okay, so this is a good, they got a good 3-on-3-ish here. He's obviously the primary threat if I'm going to play him remotely honest. So we can see here, Matt's blocking the lane. Matt is my D-man here, and I'm you can see me cheat right here. This is me loading up my leg for that pass, but still staying somewhat honest. One thing I don't like to do too often is getting my foot on that pipe too early, because this shot, I need to go to butterfly. Something that can happen if you get your foot on the pipe too early is you'll end up pushing your hip and your shoulder away from the pipe. So it makes that save a lot more difficult, because you're literally pushing away from the open areas that shooters are shooting very frequently now. That's why I kind of like having goalies keeping, like myself, and when I'm coaching, I don't coach a lot anymore. I say this like I'm coaching still, but having goalies keep their foot on the outside here. So in the case that it gets shot, see, now I'm backed up all the way. I kind of don't like that I did that, but I think he's ran out of too much option there. So he tries to get it across, and he catches it in his feet. And I kind of battle it away from him. Could have been dangerous right there too, but D-man broke it up. So you got to move across fast, because you can't assume someone's going to screw that up, right? Like, you got to move across for that shot, because the most dangerous point in that play is the immediate shot. Because he look at when it gets there. If that's a good pass, like how short and quick that was. Let's look at it. It wasn't even that quick. But if he tips that up, like right there, look at how much net there is. And it's not like I moved it across really all that slow. I mean, I wasn't fast there by any means, but like if he immediately gets that off, or can kind of shove it faster into this corner, that's a goal. So it's nothing. So one thing I know some people have asked is for me to put the score up. I just noticed that we did score. I don't celebrate after goals. I don't have any problem with goalies that do. I just don't. It would help a lot for me to kind of note when goals are actually happening. But I don't know. I don't like to add more text into these things is a fair amount of work if you don't have stuff laid out in like CS Pro. I don't really feel like always putting that much work into these videos just to show the score. Alright, so this is something here. Comes across, shoots at a somewhat awkward time. It may be a transitioning time, but I did not do a good job trapping against my chest there, obviously, but it went out of play. Sometimes shots like this can catch you off guard if you're shuffling. Like, you don't want to get caught shuffling, making big pushes and having a shot go off like that, but that's, I don't know, not the best time to shoot. Maybe wait for your teammates to catch up and create an option, but he's got a face-off out of it. Maybe that was the end result. Maybe that was the goal. Maybe the goal was to get change or... So let's see what happens here. Something's going on. Trim the fat. of nothing. Something happens here. Do I even touch that puck? So you see me clipping again here. Let's just click the scissors, click the area that you don't need, and then I hit the delete button, and it closes the gap for you. So that's not bad. I'm actually not in a great. I'm not in the worst, but for him to be a left-handed shot, me being that close to the post and this deep, there's probably something showing here. I should challenge it a bit more, like be a little bit more centered out here versus back here. So nothing. Get some drink. Alright. Nothing going on there. A lot of fat to trim there. So all that is gone. This gap here was created when we moved it over to make room for the slow motion. So we're going to close that gap. So by doing that, I'm going to move this off over there, and it'll snap onto that one. If you leave it out sitting there, it'll snap onto the slider. A lot of nothing. So just as a heads up, I did order G4s if you guys don't follow my other stuff at all. Those will be coming in soon. Not soon, but when they're done, when they're made, I put the order in on the 4th, and hopefully you'll see them in that 4 to 6 to 8 week frame. And I'll do a review on those when I get them. I may do some unboxing, analyzing it compared to my G3s, but pretty excited for that. Let's see what happens here. So he's coming in wide. And just a little VH save. That's nothing. So we'll just cut that one there, because there's really not much that happens after. Man, we might cut that earlier. We're going to cut it there. Just trim that. Do I like that I did that or not? I don't know if I like that I did that. It's a good way to close up, but there's a lot of times where if someone can backhand or shoot hard enough, or if it squeaks through just right, it's kind of easy to get things through the pants when you VH. So yeah, JFL, I got them ordered. Maybe I'll show you guys later in the stream here what they look like, or a sneak peek of what they look like. Same kind of color scheme. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So let's see. Nothing happened here. Nothing happened here. Oh, what happens here? I look off angle here. This guy's coming in. Getting drove wide. That's what you want. Goalies want you to drive it wide. There's a possible threat, but he's... Where did that even go? So I'm playing it honest. He's a left-handed shot on the wide side there. I probably could have came out a little bit further on him, but he goes wide, goes far around. Nothing really there, so I'm not going to include that. Something happens here. Trim that. All right, entering the zone. That was actually a super crafty shot. So that one almost caught me, and that was almost the goal, which would have been pretty bad. So I kind of get out. My angle's not the worst, to be honest, but I'm kind of doing a transition shuffle here. I really do not expect him to shoot this puck at this point. But he gets it through, and he gets it through. This doesn't actually touch. And I just kind of kick out there. But that was actually one of those like weird shots that can kind of sneak through. Could have been bad. Thankfully it wasn't. That's more of a, hey, wake up, play honest. Stop being fat, lazy beer leaguer kind of shot. And it's out. So we'll kill it. We don't need to have all that in there till... We'll just do that. What happens at these points? Nothing much there. Kind of so face off, a blocked shot that goes over the net. This is actually a pretty good goal by them, so we'll watch this whole thing. This is why it drives me nuts to watch other teams actually crowd and play around the net, and when my team does not. That's not the case for this team usually, or like even in pickup or open skates. More pickup. I don't do open skates anymore. But so puck into the corner. Some plays apparently going on. So a weird bobble there that he tries to shoot, and it gets caught up in the D-man. Not his fault. It just got caught in a weird spot. And this guy's ready to bang it in, and he does. Like, that's why you play around the net. That's why you worry about guys around the net. You try and feel them out. But it was a good goal. I'm not like mad about it. He apologized to me. There was no need for it. You know, like it happens. Towards the end of the period, does anything happen here? Get rid of that. It's all fat. He comes in. I kind of palm another. Like, I've been just palming lately. I don't know what it is. It's not the glove's fault at all. It's me palming. It's me palming shots. Thought something else happened here. Maybe not. Guess not. So usually, like, a good tell when the play's over for me is if I'm just standing up, or if I'm just staying on my knee. That's when you'll see a lot of cuts where it's just not needed to see the entire breakout. So period's over. I just heard that buzz. We're gonna scrub it all the way over here. I don't want to blow everyone's ears out, so I'm not gonna have the horn in it. At least that time. Okay, that's fine. So, to signal the start of the period, I'm just going to do that. And cut that. How did I choose my thigh rise length with the Warriors? So for my Warriors, I tried +2s with the G1s, and I felt they were too tall. One thing that I worry about with certain pads is that if I'm going paddle down, or if my stick's kind of in closer, I don't want my pads to land on them, especially if the paddle's upright, because that would kind of create a 5-hole thing. Whatever you're comfortable with. I know certain pads kind of measure a little bit, like the way they feel or play against your body is a bit different. So for me, I went 36 plus 1.5s just because I thought the 2s were excessive. On the G1s, they interfered more. I kind of think it looks like it for sure looks like the G4s have thinned out the already quite thin G3s, which were pretty similar to the G2s. I'm turning around right now to look at my G2s. They're pretty close. So as long as there's not interference, that's how I would make my decision. I don't think there's any shame in having +2s. It's when you get above that, sometimes I feel that it becomes a bit excessive. I don't think anyone has. I mean, maybe your butterfly is super wide, but like I think it begins to create an overlap, and it can actually, honestly, in my opinion, hinder your net, your skating and net. If those pads interfere when you're transitioning weight between one leg and the other, or pushing forward and backward. So that's why I kind of go with the 1.5s for me. Whatever works for you though, man. I mean, if you're a +2, looks like you get caught in them, but you like the 5-hole coverage, yeah. Half an inch, like 1 inch, if you think about it, it's probably not going to make a huge difference overall in your game. And especially, in my opinion, if you're not being interfered, will probably save you more pucks than closing 1 inch or half an inch on top of each of your legs. It's way easier to pinch your legs in a butterfly than it is to sort out and worry about how much room do my legs have when I'm transitioning weight or pushing back and forth. All right, cool. Saunders, thanks for that input. I'll keep doing these if people do like them. So let's see here. Kind of a tangent there, but hopefully that helps you, JFL. All right, so I edited that out. Let's see if it enters in our zone. Nothing much, nothing much, nothing much. I think we may have scored there. So this is kind of a funny side story. We got a kid in that's doing the clock. Usually we just have the one ref. Yes, this league only has one ref, which doesn't get too out of hand. The kid's actually doing the shot clocks too. He walked away for a good 7 minutes. I don't know if he had to go to the bathroom or grab a snack or what, but like this kid was doing a better job at counting shots than I'd say like 90% of the adults that kept track of shots throughout my high school career. So let's see here. That's a good side note. This is a good zone entry, so let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, JFL with a +2, like if you just you think they're a little long. I don't know. Did you just get those pads, or have you been working with them for a while? Because if you're having buyer's remorse, you'll adjust to the size. At a +2 versus a +1.5 is not going to be the end of the world. So here's a weird shot. So I don't grab that very well, and not only do I not swipe it, like I attempt to swipe it away as it's rolling, and then I ended up hitting it back. I swipe it that way, and then catching it on the way back, putting it in a terrible spot. But Carlson here is the best. He can dish pucks better than any D-man I've ever played with, I think, and he has a good command over his over the puck. It's just crazy to watch sometimes. I wish there was an easier way for me to tell when he kind of dishes pucks out, because there's times when he's in the corner and he'll tape to tape sauce pass to the far blue line, and it's something pretty awesome to watch. All right, so I got that going. Play's dead there, so I'm gonna kill that there. Not a lot happening here. Okay, this doesn't look good. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so he gets caught up, and we got a guy wide open here. Decent. So he tries to go 5-hole. And I kind of get the feeling there might be open guys there again, but there's not. So that's, we'll call that slow-mo worthy here. It's a couple shuffle pass there, so we'll go from the start of the pass. And then we'll scoot over, and then save, and pop right back up. So what I'm doing here, I'm using the momentum I have here just to jam my foot in. Actually, I don't jam it. I just kind of do the pop. Yeah. So, well, how long is that worth watching? I can cut that one there. That's too long. Like, making these little cuts helps make your video a lot more viewable. Not that I should say I've got 1,000 subscribers, which thank you all for subscribing if you have. But there's a lot of goalies out there that have a hell of a lot more subscribers than me. So, but it does make it more watchable. Just because you're not watching, like, if you can trim off like 3 minutes of your video for extra little stuff like that, a lot more people are going to probably watch the whole thing. So, a little slow-mo, one push, and he actually caught me during a push, which is the best. Maybe we should have just done one strong slide, but I kind of didn't know what he'd do. I thought maybe he'd dink around a little bit more just because he has so much time and space. And honestly, this guy coming in, they could have really toyed around with me here at this point, but they didn't. So here's me being out of shape. I gotta play 3v3 against high school kids that are in season shape tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. I'll probably do a video of that. So 3v3 pickup like that, I might take some goals out. Full honesty, I think I've said that before, but I will at times take in a 3v3 skate because so many goals are scored. If it's just a boring goal, I might take a goal out there. Games like this, never, never, ever. And with the Greasy Mitts Wednesday night league skates, I don't take goals out of there either. So as hard as it is sometimes, because it's 3v3 and you do get scored on a lot, I don't do it in those leagues. So let's see here. Let's see what happens here. This looks ugly. This doesn't look like good stick play by me either. Oh, that's okay. So I'm getting ready for a shot, and he sticks it away. I kind of overcommit, do the little spin back. Nothing happens. We're gonna ignore that. Nothing happens there. A lot of fat in the video and on my body because I'm too tired to stand. Alright, that's a lot to trim. We're just gonna do it now. No point in trying to find that again if I click in the wrong spot. Good save. So the only time you really catch me cheering, usually, if we win a championship, and then if a goalie makes a good save. I see it as goaltenders union. I should cheer his good saves and not, you know, if he screws up, it's kind of. For me, cheering is more of me keeping my emotions in check because I don't want to be complacent in the time of the game. Like the rough thing for a goalie is you don't really get to celebrate till it's 100% done because you can blow a game. So for me to say I don't like cheering, for me, it's for my mental well-being that I don't feel like in my head I don't feel happy until we've won. And up until that point, anything can happen. Alright, so here's an interesting play. Comes across, cool move, but he doesn't do that. So this is me really off balance. I did not put weight on my right knee until the very end, and I'm leaning back. This is just bad. This is me being too worried about my knee. It's been kind of bothering me a little bit lately, but that's largely bad play. I ended up looking pretty old school during it, which it's still in my head a bit because I'm 36 now, or I'm going to be 36 this year. I'm 35 right now. I was kind of taught the older school style, so there's some parts that I'm still pretty used to. Toe up, elbow up high like that. This looks like, you know, 90s goaltending. Saunders, for my VH versus RVH, I'm stronger on one side than the other, and my hip is better on one side than the other to kind of play that. So if you watch that breakaway I was talking about earlier, when I went down like that, I don't lean into the post very well on that side. I lean on it much easier on my right side. So it's really kind of a thing that you're comfortable with. One general rule for RVH and VH is you don't want to be in it when it gets beyond this angle here. So the angle from your pipe to there, then it starts, because if they push out beyond that, you're pretty vulnerable. So it's you leave it when they start migrating higher than the angle from here to here. Post to the bottom of the circle. It's kind of a good general rule. I'm not going to say that's the case for everyone at all times. Obviously, if you're Jonathan Quick and can keep in there and you have a leg strong enough to push cross crease and split, like you can play with that a lot more. You're going to be able to feel that out. But from a general standpoint, I would say you don't want to be in it much longer than you have to once the angle starts shifting towards the front of the net. Behind, not a huge deal. I like to RVH simply because it's easier to transition from post to post for me. But it can get you in trouble. You can kind of get caught trying to look around, and especially like when the guys can kind of come. If you're following my mouse, if a guy's here and knows how to pass this angle and you're pinned onto that post, that's bang bang. So when I'm playing with very good players, I know that's 100% possible that I'm pinned up here and I need to be ready for him to get crafty. Even if he goes back, say he comes back around the corner here and he sees me starting to RVH right there. Guys that are really good know how their sticks can, the angles of their sticks, and the passes that come out from behind the net are absolutely deadly. And that's another of the things that when they change the nets in the NHL, something that can really mess with you because when they shave off like this much area here, think about how much more angle they have and how much tighter they can get that puck in throughout the back of the net. It just becomes it's such a deadly skill to know uh, the length of your stick and the options that the puck has at the lengths of their stick. So if they can get around here and they actually have like if I had NHL nets here, the ability to pass back here is is significantly higher now with the windowed nets and the NHL nets. So to kind of I just kind of went on a side rant there, but yeah, to play it off, generally you don't want to be in it further than the above those things. Anchor pegs help a ton. We have them in the if you watch my 3v3 videos that are titled Greasy Mitts, we have anchor pegs in those, and it's a dream. You get absolutely spoiled with those pegs. I push pegs off all the time now because I got to use those in the Greasy Mitts League stuff, and I love them. I love them, and it helps you really like. The only thing that sucks when you RVH, you can kind of see what the peg's doing, but when you VH, sometimes you're hugging that post and you don't know you've got it pulled off and push the side. It's harder to gauge with the beer league peg sometimes. So I'm a bigger fan personally. If I could RVH all the time, I would probably usually do that. But yeah, I mean like it's whatever you're comfortable with, but just don't overuse it. You don't want to overuse it beyond once the angle starts changing too much, and it's hard to understand when to transition in and out of it. Obviously, VH is going to be really easy to transition out and aggressively go towards shooters that are uh, coming out in front of the net this way. RVH, if they're coming around that way, it's easier to RVH push across, in my opinion. Yeah, they are expensive. I feel like if I started using them, I would probably want to get two sets to offer the other goalie so that I don't feel like I have an advantage. That's me personally, and but they're so expensive. I've kind of looked at those Piranha pegs, but I feel like those might almost um, wreck the crease. Maybe that's me just not understanding. But yeah, what does happen here? So we'll go back to this. That's a miss shot. That's a miss. I'm actually gonna keep in there. Just kind of show like I'm screwing up there. Let's see. This is a good shot, and this is a goal I should have, but at the same time, this is a good shot. And this is the guy I was talking about earlier. I've skated with him a fair amount, but let's see what happens here. He comes in. He's got an option, and it's a good option. He holds it off and gets it over to him. He loads up, and I'm pretty well ready to be set. And this puck actually touches my shoulder a tiny bit, but it just dings high. That's just a good goal. I'm not like I should still have that because the angle was there and whatnot. You hear me say my bad right there. But it's a good shot. Not a great goal. It's a great shot. I'd rather have that one than not. I'm kind of pushing over, but what can you do? It's a good goal. So one thing from a goaltending mindset, and something I would say to any goalie, it's hard to get used to. In my mid 20s, I would get pissed. I get super pissed. I would start maybe saying some stuff to my teammates or something, like why that guy's open. You got to watch that guy. Something that I do more now, and I think it's really helps from the mentality of the team, is just take the blame on almost any goal. For me, if I can mentally take that off of them, and even if I take the blame and the D-man, if I take the blame and it's my fault 100%. If I take the blame and the D-man thinks that he is to blame, then typically what I've seen is that they step up a little bit more because they're like, oh, I gotta show him that it's not his fault, whether or not it is or not. And I want to make up maybe a play that they botch. So from a mental standpoint, it does not help to be toxic. It does not help to blame, even if it is their fault. Maybe give them a, like, hey man, like great job covering the guy in the corner there or something, like kind of chirp them a little bit, like a joke, but like depending on your relationship with them. But yeah, like that's one of the things that I saw change from when I was about 26, 27 to now me 35. I started trying to be more positive to my D-men, even if they were having a rough time, um, to better I don't know, morale. It ended up being a positive thing overall. I think you'll get better play out of your teammates as long as you're not pissed at them. I'd rather them be pissed at themselves. Let's put it that way. I don't think the way they get there is by like actually chirping them. So okay, a lot of fat there. Trimming that. Back to the show. That's a crafty move, and he comes in, and I push it off. So here's something. Okay, I've had a number of concussions because of stuff that happens in front of the net here. If I'm high school, if I'm in my 20s, I cover that puck up and I fight through whatever stuff that's happening there. A lot of knees to the head trying to do stuff like this. So let's watch this. That's right there. I 100% could probably have covered that puck up and gotten kind of ran over. His knee is right at my head level when I'm on all fours. So I've had a number of concussions that happen that way. So what I'll typically do at this point, because it's not a tournament, it's not a playoff game, I'm just gonna shove it. And so that kind of, you see me pull my head back. That's me just trying not to get a freaking hip or shin to the head, because I don't need any more concussions. That's me pushing it away. I know there's potential there, so I'm kind of pushing back to the center, but he picks it up, and everything's fine. So if you see me doing stuff like that, if I'm young, I'm not doing that. I'm fighting the guy, not fighting, but I'm fighting for the puck there, and I'll take a hit to cover the puck. But at these instances, I'm not doing it. Oh, there's more to it. Okay, so he gets the puck back, shoots, cover. He's lost his stick, so. Alright, so nothing there really. We're about to have a face-off. Might have slow-mode something, so that's why that's there. Okay, so something actually happens here. I'll go back, scrub, clip the fat. So I don't think I'm going to be able to corral that puck, so I just toss it to the side. So he probably, yeah, so like he has cover. I'm kind of relaxed, I'll just clip that there. Nothing happening, 5 minutes left. Clipping that out. So I actually thought this one went in. I don't know, like it rolled through my blocker kind of odd. So it was super weird feeling. Like what caught my watch my yeah, it was like blocker and my pad, and it gets kicked off to the side. Thankfully. So I'm kind of pitching that side, and I'm watching for a pass out front because I felt him there. I kind of thought he might be lingering in the back door. Thankfully, he grabs that. Here's a dangerous thing. Here's a thing not to do. I'm kind of too far back, and this guy's, you can see right here, his angle's right here. So when this pass comes out here, and I'm doing that, what happens if I don't catch that, right? Like that puck goes in. That puck goes right in my 5-hole. This is me being a little bit lazy because it's late in the game. And I don't want to just stand up and play the angle. Because if this puck gets here, and I'm doing lazy stuff like this, trying to poke check it away, if that misses, that's 100% in 5-hole. So something to pay attention to. Something like, and that's why we don't stay RVH or VH for too long here. That's the point where he's here, probably. Just get up. Get up so you can play this appropriately. Otherwise, situations like this happen. Okay, so something happens at this face-off. There's 4 minutes 29 left, and we're up by 1 or 2. Catch and cover. Try and burn the clock. Little beer league strats. Running clock. It's kind of a weird knuckler, though. I mean, whatever. So, looks like there's something happening here again. So we're gonna go back, clip. Oh, watch what happens. Really easy shot there. Like, there's not much that's gonna happen. I know that there's no threats over here. He's got him pretty much totally covered. He's practically tackling him. So I feel pretty comfortable just going down here. I got angle covered. I can extend beyond the pipe. And he just shoots it right into my leg. All day. Easy. And it goes out. And we'll clip that out. So this is a little bit scary here. Let's look at this. Clip that out. So Pumpkin gets killed there. Back to the point. So here's a tip. So I'm kind of peeking because this guy's going. I know that shot's coming. I'm going down, thinking it's going over here. It gets tipped by his skate, and then I pinball it, my leg out that way. Thankfully, it goes wide. Kind of scary. I don't know that he should have done that, but worked out fine. And it just goes away. What happens here? Corner, trying to get the guy in the slot. Ready for a shot. Maybe could have came out at him a little bit more there. He breaks it up. No threat. Done. We're not including that. This actually, they kind of bounced it off me a little bit here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here's a good example. So Saunders, for you asking about when I've RVH on a pipe here, the play here is to either get the pass out to this guy here or jam on me. So he gets it back out. I'm standing honestly, and now it's coming in within this angle area almost. And it's going to turn to a jam session here basically because it's clusterfucked right here. Sorry, I tried not to swear this whole time. It's clustered here. This guy is an option. But now I'm worried about, like, I know there's 3 guys here. I'm not too worried about this. So I kind of stay posted up right there. And now nothing's going on. And we're just good. So we'll just leave it at that. That's fine. What happens here? Nothing. You see me open up for what might have been a shot here. Yeah, he stops it. Puck doesn't clear the zone. Let's watch this. Goes wide. Nothing. Not much left. What happens there? Oh, he jumps at the puck. Empty net. I have yet to score a goal in my career, and I kind of look at the end of the ice a lot when I see that, but my shot's so terrible that I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Okay. A non-shot there. Stuff behind the net. Breaks it out. Okay, what happens here? Low shot games, to keep focused, I really just try and watch the puck. One thing that I think hurt me a lot in high school is I would get songs stuck in my head. So now, like, honestly, one of the things that I do is before most of my games that I know are going to be kind of serious or like are going to be a challenge, I do take 5 hour energies. I do believe that the focus aspect of them does help me a fair amount. I'm not going to say I have ADD or anything, but I do think it helps me a fair amount. It doesn't make me jittery, and honestly, I feel that I have a harder focus on the game in front of me. Watching the puck and watching how it behaves um, throughout the game, even on the far end, is something I do just to keep my head in. And like to be honest, different temperatures and ice conditions can affect how the puck is acting that game or that day. And to kind of mentally just subconsciously educate yourself on that, I feel might help a bit. So I make a save there. How long does that go for? I was kind of rambling during that. How long is this interesting for? Is the real. Stuff's happening through most of this. Yeah, I'll keep all that. So we got a face off with like 10 seconds left. Let's just watch it out, sure. He clears it. It's a goal. There we go. That's a win. That's me shaking my head because I'm tired and out of shape. So tomorrow's going to be interesting because we'll be playing 3v3, which means probably 3 times the shots of that. I think it was like a 32 shot game that we won 3-2, 4-2. So yeah, I'm done editing now. And that at this point is when I would normally publish it. I'm not going to do that right now just because it's going to suck up a bunch of CPU. But what I will do, let's show you guys my pads. Since you're watching my first live broadcast, you'll get to see my pads ahead of everyone. Let me find it. Jason Ward. I ordered them through the goalie crease, so out in Canada. Good exchange rate. That's another pro tip for the Americans. Yeah. Let's see here. What? Oh, that's the invoice. Do you guys have any more questions at all as I'm kind of wrapping this up? Keep low shot games. I try not to think about, for me, don't think about possibilities in the game because what's going to happen is going to happen. Don't think about winning the game before you've won it. Obviously, that's why you don't say shutout before you've gotten one. Don't worry about what the other goalie's doing. It's always fun to have a good battle. Maybe I look at that, but I don't think like, oh man, I'd really love to beat him, or like hopefully he screws up. Don't rely on the possibility of misfortune to happen. I would say don't get seated in the thought of, hey, maybe these bad things will happen and then it'll work out for me, or maybe a bad bounce will happen for me once in a while. Like don't that's toxic thought in my mind. Um, Worry about your game. Appreciate when the other goalie is playing well. Appreciate a battle. Don't say you don't pay attention to the other goalie. You want a battle. You want a good game. Um, but don't let exterior things uh, seep into your head during games. That's kind of the big thing for me is just to stay focused. It sounds like a plug, but like the 5 hour energy type things. I use some off-brand deal. Uh, I don't know what it's something on Amazon. So let's see here. All right, I got the pads queued up. Let's open them up. There they are. Let's zoom. Can we zoom more? Can we go full page? Do I have to download it to make that happen? Have I downloaded it? There we go. So there they are. Went with a little bit more of black on them this time. Actually, you know what? These aren't even the ones. Hold on. I take that back. I made a change to them. Where are the ones I actually ordered? There they are. Hold on. Sorry. False alarm. I made a one change right here. I wanted them to look a little bit more clean. So I'll bring those over. There we go. A little bit cleaner in the look. I like the idea. So some conceptual stuff here. I like the idea of someone still thinking of pucks on my pad, or the shooter having a harder time reading where the puck is in a rebound situation. So I like that. The only thing that makes me nervous is sometimes pucks land here, and if I don't see them quite right, it's not one of those things that really worries me. Someone mentioned when I got yellow pads that that's why Fleury got worse, because he had a harder time seeing the puck through the distracting colors of yellow or brighter colors in his periphery. I don't think that's going to be a thing for me playing beer league. I did not notice any difference from me being able to track the puck with bright pads versus my black pads or my full white pads. I've won multiple hard championships to win in beer leagues and around the state here um, in bright yellow pads, so I'm not too worried about it. Let's see here. I've got some squeaking issues with my new True One. I got a 4 millimeter blade and a 3/4 hollow, dude. No, anything about that? VH2 piece. Um, yeah, that's odd actually. The 4 mil blades squeaking on you. Um, interesting. I've not heard of a 4 millimeter blade ever squeaking. I know someone else that has one piece cowlings. Um, and I don't think he has that issue, but yeah, I don't think he had that issue at all. Excuse me. Do you have step steel in your cowlings, or are you using Bauer? I think those use the Bauer blade style blades, don't they? So you're doing 3/4, which is that's a softer hollow. I'm gonna bring something up here. Let's see if we can't find the one of my older videos. You can kind of hear the howls in it. Let's see here. Um, let's find video. Oh no. Let's see here. What's going on? I don't need to watch myself live. 2S6, the 2S line of gear. The 2S6 looks super interesting. I wanted to get one earlier, but I was not able to get one. So I like the idea of them trying to do something different. I think the concept's really neat. Like think about it. You get a wide paddle that is the back. Like the whole thing is basically the backbone of your flex after the shaft. I believe that's how they're built right now. And with a 2S stick, your shaft continues down all the way to the bottom end of your stick. So the front facing um, paddle, a lot of it is just blocking area. So if that goes, say that cracks it a little bit, you're gonna get a little bit more life and still have some pop if that breaks a little bit. I think that's kind of interesting. Um, yeah, I think they're really neat. I'm gonna try one for sure. I'm probably not gonna do the pads, just because I got the Warriors coming. I said right off the bat when the 1S pads came out and they had those that like composite type not fabric. It's like the whatever they replace the leather with on the inside. I'm like, this is going to change a lot of pads from here on out because how fast you could tell those were going to slide. I questioned their durability a little bit, not knowing how long they'd last, but I've not heard of that part of that pad having any issues. So I think that's an awesome piece of equipment. I think it's an awesome piece of equipment from Bauer. I think they had a lot of issues with the fabrics that went around the pad beyond that. You saw people talking about how there's like holes in them and whatnot. And if that got, I feel they heard plenty of feedback from that, and that they resolved it. I feel by looking at it on the 1X pads, those look a lot and feel a lot more sturdy than the 1S ones did. I imagine the 2S's they'll be a lot more durable. Um, but yeah, I think it's cool to see different tech on different pads. I'm not a person that's you're going to hear saying a lot of negative things about companies when it comes to them trying something new because if it doesn't work, hey, at least you tried something different. And if it does work, that's awesome. It helps us all elevate. It helps all the brands work harder. I think when you look at the speed skin thing happening, when you look at the air slide, I think that's what Warrior's calling it happening. I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that Bauer kind of went on trying to do something new with the technology that involves the speed in which goalies slide on the ice, and I think that's awesome for everyone because everyone just got better gear because of it. So that's my opinion on I guess sticks in line of gear. Do I wear my glove tight or loose? I wear it as tight as I can. I have pretty skinny wrist and hand, so I try and get it pretty tight on my hand. Um, it should be noted though, if you don't have a Warrior glove, I might wear mine a little bit looser than what I do as far as the straps go on my gloves, because the the Warrior glove just grabs the back of your hand. It doesn't grab your wrist. On gloves where I had it grab on my wrist, I loosened it up a bit more so you don't want it so tight that you can't present your glove forward, right? There's gonna be times where your glove's pretty low and it still needs to present forward. You want to make sure you have that full range of motion, and then to have some give so that you can absorb the shots that you're taking to your hand so it doesn't just spring out. That's not a great example because the video you just saw, two pucks sprung out of my palm because I wasn't presenting it quite right. But it's more to do with my flexibility in working a desk job, having my hand pretty much facing down all day and never stretching or practicing it, than my equipment. So let's see here. Where can I find an old howling video? It's probably when I had my G1s. Can we hear any of that there? Um, but yeah, on my 4 millimeter blades, JFL, I use half hollow. I don't know that's gonna change it for you though, to be honest. And let's see if we can't hear the howl. It's gotta be my Bauer Pro. Yep, right there, you can hear it. Let's see. Let's go to some other action here. Come on. You can hear it right off the bat, though. Not a lot of shuffling going on from here, oddly enough. That's another goalie. Let's go back to the start. Yeah, you can hear it right there. So yeah, right there. Yeah, so those for sure were howling. That's a 3 millimeter blade though. Yeah, I would do maybe try half. Half will get you more bite too. If you're feeling strong enough to do it, try and use your half hollow someday maybe. If it's too much for you to shuffle around with that, um, go back to your other ones and just kind of put up with the howl. So JFL, I don't know if you heard much of that. I can kind of I don't know if can I put a link in here into chat? If you want to try listening to that and seeing if the howl sounds similar to yours, Vapor Pants, yeah, if the howl sounds similar, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go away, to be honest. But so to answer your question, JFL, hopefully it does go away. Maybe if you change it a little bit, but if it sounds like that, I think there's a good chance it might not. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. Lundqvist himself, if you watch the video from one of the older Stadium series when he was wearing the same Bauer Pro skates or something that I think it was maybe it was a reactor with a 3 mil, it makes the same noise. It makes the exact same noise. And if that's going to happen for Lundqvist, it's going to happen for everyone. So even their premier goalie had the same problem throughout that instance. So I think it's just something that some people will get and some people won't. The Vapor Pants I think are super solid. They're really light. They move really well on me. My only complaint is how like the pelvic, they have like those little pads that go over your pelvic area, like the hinged area on your leg. Um, there's a zipper where you can extend the pants a little bit, and that's on all. I think that's on a number of pads, or sorry, pants nowadays. But where those rest, it seems like they can get flipped up, and you can take bruises there on occasion. It's not an area that bruises easily, and there is some padding there, but the core, like one of the pieces that sits in the front, flips up around that zipper area, and I feel like maybe it shouldn't do that because I feel like if I was taking, I'll find out this summer when I'm playing like the college kids that are back that aren't afraid or will take hard slap shots when they have opportunities to, when it's not a risk to the other players. I'll probably be able to tell better how bad it really is, but I've gotten a couple bruises there, and I'm not super amped on that. I think it's one of those things where you could probably put some like elastic stitching there and it would fix it 100%, or just suck it up and take a few bruises. It's something that goalies don't get so many as many these days. I don't feel it, at least to the extent that they did back in the day. I remember going to school and teachers thinking my parents beat me because I had bruises all over my arms and a lot of my legs. Any gear I'm excited for besides the G4 line? All of it. I love seeing new gear. I personally work well with Warrior stuff, but I like to see all the new stuff. I felt like I still kind of feel like some of the Bauer gloves. I think the material they use for their what not leather, but their pads. Like I feel it's a bit underwhelming. Hopefully they change that a little bit. I think the pads are really good though. And I got a helmet coming. I'm gonna 960 XPM or whatever the hell they call it. Um, that's coming. I'm gonna get that painted, probably similar to how I have my current one painted. I'm really excited to wear that. The padding in it feels pretty good. Cortex or something. Is that what it's the? Oh yeah, the fabric or whatever it's called. I think they can get it approved on. I honestly I wish they would just kind of stick to um, a traditional fabric and then just pair it with that surface piece that the inside the part that almost feels like plastic. I think that's a perfect combination. To be honest, I think those pads are sick and like I bet you that, so okay, here's what it is. The Cortex stuff probably prints, you can print on it easier. So the ability to customize everything on those is probably there because of that Cortex, uh, fabric or whatever, or not fabric, but exterior. So I do like that. I like the idea of being able to print anything you want on them. It's going to give people a lot of options as far as customization goes. It's going to be super key that they make sure that those things get sewn together appropriately. Because if you have a super, uh, if you have an extremely angular, precise design, if that's off at all, it's going to look bad. I feel if it's not stitched together right. But yeah, if you look at, I mean, it's not like custom pads can't be done great. Obviously, Brian's who do a ton of awesome work. I think Eddie Lack's probably got the coolest designs of pads um, of anyone in the league when he gets to new teams. I'm just excited. It's a good thing he gets traded a lot because you can kind of see him pick out these cool new pad designs for his team. I loved his Winnipeg Jets pads. He just does a lot of cool stuff with his pads. Scott Darling's done some cool stuff too. So, um, yeah, like even CCM, which like the premieres, which I'd largely say look kind of boring. They look like a general evolution of the Premier line. It looks like speed skin, cool, that's awesome. They found a way to make those slide a little bit easier. What I do find interesting on those is that landing thing. I watched a review by the guys that do the pure hockey reviews today, and he said it was, or maybe was it no, it was Goal Crease. It was someone that was using the pads, and they said it was a lot more cushioned on the landing. I like the idea of that, like not feeling the wear and tear over time. I actually feel like I've stuck with my Warrior knee pads, the Ritual X knee pads, because they have such a nice cushioned landing on them. Other knee pads I've used in the past, I get bruises on the inside of my knees, and that's not good, especially because I'm only playing 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week. To the kid that's practicing every day, if you're gonna get bruises on your knees, you can't go down. That's brutal. Trying to decide between P2s or P2s or 2S's. Um, I would wait to see what the 2S looks like, or to see in person personally. Given that the 1S's did have some reliability issues that a lot of people saw, I haven't heard that a lot later on in its life though. So maybe they made some changes later on in its design life that they kind of didn't kept under wraps. I don't know. If you used a P2 in the past and you loved it, or like a Premiere, sorry, I should just say Premiere because there was P1, 2, 3, 4s, and then they went away for a while. Um, if you used a Premiere in the past and like actually loved the pad, I would probably look at that first personally before I would look at branching out to the 2S. But if the 2S ends up being like a super solid, reliable pad, I feel that the speed of the slide on the 2S would probably, this is me guessing, so don't go saying I'm an idiot if that's not true, but I would feel that the speed of the slide on the 2S's would probably outperform the speed skin on the CCMs. But I mean, I don't know that you need that. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's one of my old mindsets where I don't need that much speed, or that I don't need to be like sliding like it's fresh ice all the time. I don't know. Um, Comparison between the Bauer gloves compared to Warrior, I personally do not care for the Bauer gloves a whole lot. I don't think that Cortex, um, I just doesn't like any of the ones I've picked up. I've just not liked. What I would like to do before just saying this is actually hold one that's been broken in. So ignore my thing I just said. I'd like to hold one that's actually been broken in because I've held a lot of shop gloves and they've just felt like trash to me. My G3 glove when it came, I could snap it shut like those videos you see online immediately. I think someone else in one of the goalie review, because like all the shops already got their product. Someone was snapping a Warrior G4 glove open, like no problem, open shut, open shut, open shut. I think it was the pure hockey guys that time for sure, and he's just snapping it open and shut, and it sounds like my G3 was. I thought I heard some people say that that wasn't the case for some of their G3s. My custom G3s, it is the perfect glove. The one thing I might change is let me tighten it a little bit more around my wrist. Um, and then that's it. That's honestly it. Like to be able to change out your glove, your palm. I actually have never done it on my glove. I just changed it on my blocker. That was super easy to do. My blocker literally feels brand new. If I wasn't getting these G4s in the mail, I would buy the replacement palm, exact same angle for my G4. And if you have, it's a 75 degree on my G4. If you're wondering that. Got an event canceled. Tenny Fest here in Canada, BC. Can try out all the gear. Most likely waiting for that. Yeah, event called. Event called Tenny Fest. I think we have that here. Yeah, I would 100% do that because you're going to get demo gear that someone's actually been using for a little bit. I would, that's the perfect scenario, going there and trying it out. I would feel weird myself going there, just being an older guy, a beer leaguer. You don't typically see beer leaguers at those things. Maybe it's different in different markets, but in Minnesota, I think it's pretty rare. But it would be nice to feel the gloves. It sucks for me because I'm full right. Like even when I pick up a glove, it's hard for me to tell how it will honestly feel in my hand uh, during a game. I'm just gonna put this up since we're just talking at this point. But yeah, for me to tell how to tell it how it is in a game, um, it kind of sucks. So I end up kind of buying a lot of gear just blind. So do you guys have any more questions at all? I got a fantasy hockey draft I gotta do tonight. I got my bracket made. Maybe I'll show you my bracket here on top of it. Let's see if we can pull that up. Hold on one sec. Let's see here. I think it's on NHL.com. What are you saying? All levels, yeah, yeah, that's cool then. If you see everyone there and you don't feel weird trying stuff out, that's awesome. If I go, it's gonna be kids and me. So, and that's even in Minnesota, oddly enough. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's that's a perfect event to try everything out because it you kind of get to talk to the reps about it. You get to look at some gear that's actually been used for a bit. Um, and you can actually tell maybe a little bit about how it's going to wear. So I would 100% do that. Compare the two, and just be your own judge. Because the thing about gloves is it's what one guy might love, one guy might hate. There's gloves that I hate that I know a lot of people love, and I know I love gloves that other people might hate. So the glove more than anything I feel is more of a personal thing, and that's why there's so many degree breaks and different models and whatnot. So feel that out. I really do love my. I'll say it again. I I'm not paid or anything by them. I think the G3 glove has been the best glove I've used since the Brian Hook that I had in high school. Other gloves I've used have been hard to pinch, hard to shut. Um, I had a CCM that I made great glove saves with. Um, I still got really bad stingers on it, and it never felt great in my hand. And that was like a personal thing. It's like, okay, well, I do make more saves with this thing. I feel like, or at least people are shooting at it more, and I'm making great saves with it. But I just didn't like it in the end. I had a genetic, the first genetic. I felt that thing was super stiff. I could never really close that thing quite right. I don't know if it was how they stitched it, or how things got placed, or just how it was designed. It did feel invincible when I got shot on it, but I think they changed a couple things throughout and made it a little bit more loose to shut and whatnot. So let's see what my bracket is. Where is it? It's don't make fun of it. I'm kind of just going off feel here. Come on, log in. Oh, maybe I won't be able to show you it. That doesn't look like I'll be able to. But yeah, so if you guys have any more questions, ask them quick. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of close this up. I might do this more in the future. I'm not sure they'll always go so long. Um, if later times work for you guys, let me know. But I'm just going to have this thing posted so you can make comments later on. Hey, thanks for joining Hyper. That's awesome that you guys joined. JFL, thanks for joining. Saunders, if you're still around, thanks for joining. And anyone else that's on that's enjoyed it, let me know. If there's something you didn't want on it, or you wanted me to do less of, let me know. Um, but yeah, I'll probably do more of these in the future, even if it's just a handful of people watching it. It doesn't hurt me any to stream it, right? Because I'm doing this anyway. And if it's helping anyone, I don't get paid for it, but if it's helping people, that's payment enough. So take it easy, guys. Enjoy your time on the ice. Hopefully, you got games coming up, and best of luck in them. All right, later, boys.